Hello and welcome to another episode of me. Well, we're not painting this time. We're having a look at some paintings though in my sketchbook. This is the first outdoor sketchbook I've used. This one I started just playing around with ideas and then I thought, right, time to get out and about and start painting because, as they say, one stroke outside is worth 1,000 strokes inside. So I thought I'd test that out and see if painting outside would improve my ability. And I can tell you it does. You might disagree. But it does. It really does. So this character I drew was my inner self, my inner sketchbook self, saying, why aren't you doing it? You're not going to get better unless you do it. So I thought, okay, I'll get out there and I'll do some painting outside. I have to spin this sketchbook around a little bit. So I started with this one. This is a scene where I walk up this path. And it was pretty hot, to be honest. And I got my gouache paints out. And if you're wondering how to paint with watercolours and gouache, you can find them some videos on my channel on how to do it, and there's plenty of other videos out there that will show you. And anyway, I just did this. I tried to mix the colours, I tried to capture the light that was going across, and I didn't spend too long, and then I went deeper into the forest, and there was this bridge, and I sat down and stung my hand on some nettles. And I decided I would paint this little bridge, trying to get that stone, and you get to see the darkness as it goes on, the water goes under there. And I really like that little painting. Actually, it really does capture what I was seeing. And but I'm not strict. I'm not being strict with myself at all when I'm painting. Here are some studies, more studies. That's a scene of the field near where I live, and the reap seed was growing, and the clouds were ever changing. Let's be honest. When you're out there painting, the clouds are ever changing. So you've got to change your paintings. Do some studies of just skies. Look up, get out in the back garden, or look out your window, and you will see a sky. Hopefully, I've lived in places where you look out your window and you see a brick wall. So hopefully, a short walk down the road there's a sky, or a few clicks on the internet, you get a picture of a sky, and you can sketch that. Here's a failed sketch. I don't know what happened there, but it does happen quite a lot, let's be honest. So here's another scene out in the woods, and I really like the colours on this tree, but I wasn't sure how I was going to project it out. So what I did is I got some dark, almost black, using a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt umber, and really darkened this to bring this out. And that's a trick they do a lot. They do that a lot in traditional, like 16th, 15th century paintings. You'll see the portrait on top of real darkness, and it looks fantastic, actually. There's another one in the woods. Now, when you're in the woods and you get these scenes that you like, it's very easy to go into detail. And I've mentioned this before. Don't go into too much detail. It's a trap. It's a trap. And I fall into that trap quite a lot. But I'm trying to escape it. So be warned. Try and escape the detail. So then whatever I see, like this old log here, I like that. I like the way the little plants was growing up in front of it and the way the little bits of light was hitting it. So I thought, oh, I'll do that one. I like that one. And then as I walked further forward, I got this nice bright scene with an old fence, old rickety fence there. And actually, in this area, I do really like going in that area because not many people go there, and it's really interesting. You get some interesting scenes. I just like being in the woods, to be honest. But I was trying not to be too detailed, trying to just flow through. And I was sat on this wonky seat because I decided I would get one of those camping chairs, the free pole ones, and if you don't sit on it properly on a flat surface, which I found out while doing this painting, if you don't sit on it right, it breaks and you fall off. So there's a scene that didn't work. If it doesn't work, give up. Just give up and move on. Don't spend hours piddling to try and get it to work. Just give up, move on to the next one. And this one does work. And it's got a nice, simple feel to it. It's really clean and simple. And it was really hot as well. I remember painting that. It was boiling. And there was sheep stood behind me. And I was getting a little bit worried because they got quite close. And I was thinking, oh, they're not going to try and do one of their bars right in my ear, are they? But yeah, I do really like this one. And I liked observing the different colours and the way the light was hitting the scene. I just liked it. And then I ventured in the evening. I was trying to capture the light, different evening scenes. I was sat on a farmer's field having a look at the sky. I do really like this one. That's the way the sky, and it just had two beams of light that just came out like that. It's really interesting. And then there's this old windmill. I decided to have a go at painting. There was more to it there, but I just wanted the windmill, so I missed everything else out. And then I had another go at the sun as it was changing, try and get that reddish glow. I sort of captured it, it's sort of there. Out further afield there's this old ruin, and I was on another three-legged chair which I broke while painting this, and and also I had a lot of people coming over, and that was a bit of a problem. I wasn't expecting that, actually. It's a place where not many people go, so I was a bit surprised when a lot of people was turning up and having a look, because there's not much there. There's an old ruin and a load of nettles. And yeah, I found that very difficult, actually. I felt like I was out of my depth, and I'm going to return there at some point and have another go. Here's another scene that I captured the light, and this one was more successful. I really went for light that was just dripping through some of the trees, and the trees were quite dense, and there was only spatterings of light getting through it, so I was quite happy with that one. I think I really captured that one, and I decided to go a bit bigger and really spend a bit of time on this one. I think I was out for about an hour, and I was quite happy. And then back to the old field, another field this is, and getting that orange light in the evening, and getting these weird colours and shapes of clouds that you get, because clouds, they're so different, and sometimes when it starts to rain, you could just pour a little bit of grey in there. But all these guys that you practice painting, they come in to when you're designing your own painting. You remember using a sky like this out of your sketchbook. I mean, you remember painting this, and even if you don't remember, you can go back and have a look, and then you can add it into a painting. So if you're struggling with artist block, use something you've already done, use it in a painting. Sometimes you just want to sit back and paint some flowers in the back garden. So it gives you a bit of ambition in the garden to grow something that looks good, because then you can paint it and you can look at the effects of the light on it and everything, and it's really good fun as that. And then you could have a look at other scenes. I've got a little bit of a pond with a few plants growing out of it. So I've got some, I think they're called pond marigolds, and I thought that'd be interesting to do. Quick sketch. Back out in the woods. I was actually sat in the middle of the woods when I painted this, and someone came across with their dogs and they didn't notice me there, and I gave them a right fright because suddenly they saw me and they was like, "Whoa!" and they was like, "Oh, hello." And there's another one. I was trying to capture the speckly light that was hitting the ground on that one. I quite like this one. This could be nice as an oil painting, which is why I'm doing these as well, for ideas for future paintings. Here's another one, simple, a rooftop, some light, and the side of the garage. Bit boring, isn't it? But if you imagine this scene, you could put a cat on there walking across or something, and you've got this. You can just add things to it for a painting. Nice easy ones. And maybe there's another nice scene. I was sat on a bridge here, and I was painting this. And I really like this one. I've done this as an oil painting as well, and I think I'm the only one that likes it. But I like it, so who cares? And then there's this. This is on the side of Lincoln Cathedral. It's one of the gargoyles, and I used colour. I exaggerated the colour a little bit because the sun was just hitting it, and I really wanted to get that warm sun on it. I'm quite happy with it though. Here's a started painting that never got finished. Here's a scene of a pond, and I gotta be honest, I wasn't on my game here. I couldn't get my eyes to work properly. I found it really difficult because it was so light, and the light was just blasting everything out, and I ended up giving up. I just couldn't seem to get it right. But it is what it is, and that's why you go out painting, because you're challenging yourself. Here's a tree that was out there, and then after painting that, I went a bit further and you get the outer part of the forest, which I quite enjoyed doing. That'd be quite a good painting as well. I quite like that one. I visited this tree again with my oils and been out there with oil paints and did it. It's a good tree, that one. Sometimes you try and sketch people while they're in park walking. Quick sketch. Don't hang about though. what I do with this one, I covered it all with yellow to start with, a cadmium yellow, and then I painted on that because it was quite a warm day and I wanted that warmth in the painting. And then you've got the light hitting the people. You got to be quick, so you can't mess around with detail, just quickly get it in. Even the dog, it's a very simple shape. Then some flowers again. Always trying to do some flowers now and then. It's great in the summer when you've got flowers growing and you can have a go at painting them. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Like this one. I mean, they've got there's a bit of something there, but to be honest, I kind of gave up in the end. This painting, I think it's that way. Might not be actually. I think it's this way. Yeah, it's this way. Maybe. It's hard to tell now. But anyway, this one I started and I was getting mosquitoes all over me, so I legged it. So I didn't even finish it. Another day, another hot day. I went out and painted these, and this, I've got little speckles. I don't know if you can see those little speckles here. They were created because there was a lot of bugs and insects in the air, so I just did that sparkle of insects. And then further down in the farmer's field, I've got this one. It's just been ploughed, I think, and got rid of all what was there. You can see all the stones and stuff. Again, I used the speckling technique. And I went down to the church and painted part of the church. Spent a while on this. There is errors, of course, but I quite like the overall effect of it. And I can feel a progression, and the more I'm doing outdoor painting, I could start to feel a progression, get used to being more simple in my approach, and really looking for those darks, like this area. Out at the coast, trying to capture the waves. Okay, it was quite a flat day. This was in Scarborough in England. And these rocks, I brought them up in my mind to create something behind them. Well, that's quite a nice one. That would make a nice painting, I think. It's got some interest to it. And then zoom my eyes in and take a quick shot of the water splashing up against the rocks and try and capture that in paint and capture all the colours. And I had to paint this in sections because the water would come and splash and then it's gone, so I'd have to keep waiting for it to splash to have a look. It's quite good fun actually. I'd like to do more stuff like that. Here's another forest scene. You know me, I like being in the forest. And then a church door. Back to the church. Just trying to capture a bit of light on there. Going a bit further afield and painting on a sort of foggy day. And the fog had lifted a bit so I could see some detail, but it was still quite dull. But I really like this one actually. Some steps, some old steps. Was a fun one. Paint steps. Going to Lincoln Cathedral and painting the side. I just really wanted to get scale of these two little people there and try and get the window at the side, and then quick sketch of Lord Tennyson. That was quite fun. I had this bloke staring over my shoulder nearly half of this painting. It's starting to annoy me actually. Don't know why people do that. And then, oh, there's building work going on. Fantastic. Get the paints out and go on a Sunday when they're not working, and you can paint their machinery. So that's what I did. Again, keeping it quick, simple, just throwing in the colour, and the colour there, that really worked. And that was I think I used phthalo green for that window. And it worked really nice. Got the exact colour. Sometimes you just want to make something up. How about a witch with a sword with a cap sat on the hat? I don't know, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It was just a bit of fun. Maybe you want to sit outside and paint the room where you normally paint. So the light's on. I was actually outside in the dark with a little light on my pad so I could see, and I painted that. It's a challenge, that one is. Painting in the dark. It really is. It's fun though. Here's a scene. Now I've got to confess, I finished this one at home because I was sat here painting this, and the heavens opened and the mosquitoes decided to pile in as well. I mean, millions of them, millions. So I was fully covered up. It was raining. I just really wanted to paint, and but I couldn't. So I took a photo and legged it, and then I finished it when I got home. Still like it. Randomness. That's what a sketchbook's for. Randomness. And then maybe you just want to sketch someone on TV. Quick, same idea, quick sketching, don't worry, just get it down and then you'll be happy. I think that's this sketchbook done. Yeah, this is the last page of this sketchbook. There's a couple of pages I haven't painted on. I moved on to another one. I hope you enjoyed this brief look into my sketchbook. It is a challenge to do quick paintings, but I find it makes you better as a painter overall, and it improves your vocabulary of art. Anyway, I hope this video helps, and hope you enjoyed that little viewing of my sketchbook, and hopefully you might add a little bit of fire in your belly and you decide to do one as well, and then it will help you with your colour mixing, it will help you with your designing, it will give you extra ideas for paintings because you'll have them in your sketchbook, just like the masters used to do, the greats of the past. So thanks very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you at another one. Cheers, bye.